getting on my work page here to make a little video, but I thought I would preface the video with just a few thoughts I've been having. I think the world needs yoga, meditation, prayer, all that kind of stuff. The lighting's weird. Okay, there we go. Now more than ever. We are in a really fragile place in our society, and I think the need for coming together as a community, this is the stuff yoga does. Brings people together. It encourages, love and unity, and taking away the facade, taking down the ego that is us, that is man, taking away all the identities that we build up for ourselves, and just letting us be just our spiritual being, our spiritual self, which is always beautiful. It's always love. It's always peace. It's always joy. So I miss that. I miss going to yoga classes. I miss teaching a lot. I teach now, but only once a week. And it's a brand new class, so I haven't built it up. And it's not like the same people. Well, it's been a few of the same people every week, but I miss what it used to be. And it's really sad to see so many people in a state of unconsciousness. I think yoga is all about, and also as a hypnotherapist, it's all the same thing. Every night in my hypnotherapy school, I'm like, oh, this is yoga. This is more yoga philosophy. And it's just truth. It's just truth is truth. It's also the gospel of Jesus Christ in my belief. So, but what's happening in our world is so many people have become unconscious. We've lost the ability, or we just forgot, or we just maybe never had the ability to connect to in a spiritual way, to connect to our higher power, whatever that power is that, you have faith in. I think that is so detrimental to our world, and the people who do meditate and pray and do things like yoga or whatever, spiritual, mental, alert, awareness type things. And mental awareness to me also is spiritual awareness. It's all the same thing. And it's all whatever you want to identify it as, however you want to call it. Like all the terms that I use in my hypnotherapy practice would be, identity and labeled, or just labeled something different in my yoga training. So whatever you want to call it, I just want to remind anybody who is still attached or not attached, following, I guess, my page, just to remind yourself to get back to that place of being connected to your higher power, being connected to your spiritual self. Really, we are all divine in nature, and that divinity has got to be tapped. It's not necessarily, and especially everyone's different, right? I think with women, this is just a generalization, but I think women tend to be more spiritually gifted, I guess, like naturally, a natural ability to connect to that higher power, a natural ability to, just connect spiritually. And I think just personalities too. Certain people, it's just more natural to some than others. But I think in general, even if it is natural, like I think it's natural to me, but I've found myself many times unconscious, like living. Basically, it's kind of like where you're living in your emotions, and you're not really aware of the thinking and the decisions that you're making. We're constantly making decisions. We're constantly thinking. And every decision we make, every thought we have, ultimately leads to our behavior, ultimately leads to our mental health, and how conscious we are of our thinking and our being. And just too many people have become unconscious, just living out And basically, I think the biggest problem is the propaganda that has just infiltrated society and the whole entire world. Propaganda across the nations, across all nations, that is just manipulated lies. There's always partial truth behind every lie, pretty much. And if you're unconscious, if you're not connected spiritually, you won't see that. You won't see the lies. You will watch the news, you will watch the media, and you'll just go along with it because they're experts. Because they care about us. So I encourage everyone to connect to that spiritual source. Figure out what that is. I believe we all feel it. We all know what that feels like. It might be hard to describe and explain with some people, but I think we all know what it feels like. And it feels good. It feels good. It feels calming. It feels right. It feels natural. It encourages us to connect. It encourages us to touch and physically touch people and be near people. I think anything that causes you to have the feeling to not connect with other people, it's not right. It's not natural. It's not of God. And you're being deceived. Anyways, so I guess the point of my video is just to find that ability. I know we all have the ability. We all practice the ability here and there, but I think as human beings, it can be difficult to remember. It's all about remembering. It's all about having that awareness, that constant awareness that, oh, I'm in control of what's going on up here. I'm in control of what's going on in here. I'm not a victim. I'm not a victim of my thoughts. I'm not a victim of my genetics. I'm not a victim. But yeah, I think a big problem in our society is that we've become unconscious and we watch the propaganda and we emotionally connect to the propaganda and we emotionally live out that propaganda. We are puppets on strings, being controlled by who knows who. I think a lot of us don't even know who that is. I think it's powers, elites, individuals that have been in control of us for a long time. And there's quite a number of people, a fair amount of people, who are finally waking up into seeing that we're puppets on strings and have been for a long, long time. I think almost anybody in the spiritual industry, energy, yoga, whatever, is seeing that, has woken up to it, or probably has already a long time ago. Like, I'm reading a book that was written in the 80s. It's like, oh my gosh, this person was so awake back in the 80s. Wish I would have read it then. My kind of awakening has been somewhat recent. I think I thought I was awake, like 5 years ago, but I wasn't. And maybe 5 years from now, I'll think, oh gosh, I thought I was awake back then. But that's maturity, that's gaining wisdom, and we all do it to certain extents, hopefully. So yeah, connect to your higher power. Find that spirituality. That is your lifeline. That is your rod. That is what you can cling to. I hope you see that we all need to cling to something. We need to be grounded to something in this day and age. If you think that everything that comes across the screen is truth, you're being lied to. You're being deceived. Full stop. Full stop. No, I don't think anybody actually believes that. But it's amazing how many people live it out, even though they don't think they're believing it. They're being pulled in. And I feel like one of my main callings in life, especially right now, is to help people see that. Because in a way, we are all, I don't like the word victim, but we are all being taken advantage of by being manipulated. And if we don't recognize that and wake up to it, I think in these last days, I believe these are the last days. I'm a Christian. I do believe that somehow, some way, Jesus Christ will come again. This is just my personal belief. And in these last days, if we are not connected and grounded to whatever we need to be connected and grounded to, and you know what? Only you can know that through your higher power, through your connection to your Creator. If we don't all do that, those of us that don't are either going to die mentally, spiritually, emotionally. They're going to die. They're going to be destroyed if you're not connected. If you are connected, you're going to see the deceptions. You're going to see what's really going on. You're not going to be a puppet anymore. You're not going to be having your strings pulled by other people. If my strings are going to be pulled, it's going to be pulled by my God. Because He is the only one, really, that has my best interests in mind and heart. I'm sure my family does, but they're not educated enough. And I would say the same thing to my children. I'm sure I have your best interests at heart, but I wouldn't say that I know enough. God, He's the one. Our Creator is the one that knows enough to have our best interests at heart and to guide us in every decision we make and every thought we have. So if you've become unconscious in the last little bit, couple days, couple weeks, couple months, please let this be a little bit of a wake-up call. It doesn't matter what you think politically, what you, that kind of thing, you know what? It doesn't matter. You connect to your spiritual self, you connect to your higher divine self, you connect to God, and you figure out what it is that source wants you to be doing right now. We are all in a spiritual battle. It's happening, whether you like it or not. And if you're not engaged in that spiritual battle, you're gone. In some form or fashion, you're toast. And if you're a leader of your family, you're taking your family with you. So please, wake up, connect to your higher power, focus on just breathing. Ground yourself every day with just the breath. Ground yourself through talking to your higher power, talking to the Creator, talking to God, figuring out what it is that, I believe it's a He, what it is that He wants for you to be doing at this time. For me, I don't know if anyone's noticed, if you've followed me not on this page, on my regular page, I'm very much inspired to be very public and be very loud and out there. And I'm sure I've turned away a lot of people, but the strive and the voice within me that is of God has told me and guided me and directed me in all that. I shouldn't say all that I do, because I'm sure I do a lot of things that are stupid and I make mistakes, so I shouldn't say all that I do, but the majority of the decisions I make, I feel, are directed by my Creator and by what He wants in my life and in my family's life and people that I have, connections with. I don't know what happened to my light. But anyways, I'm just going to end this video now. I'm about to put together a class. It's going to be a very active class. So if you're looking for something very relaxing, I need to get some energy out. It can be a little frustrating to see so many friends and family so unconscious and so on the wrong side. It's the decision now is between the light and the dark. And again, if you don't connect to your higher power, if you don't connect to God, if you don't have that spiritual reservoir of being connected, you won't know. You won't know what side you're on, or you'll be deceived and thinking you're on the other side. And you know what? If you don't agree with me, you're probably thinking that I'm being deceived, and that's fine. You have that prerogative. But just, think about it. Pray about it. Go back to I think it's New Testament. By the fruits you shall know them. Look at people that you trust and that you put your thoughts into. I'm thinking of people on the news, but hopefully it's not that for you. Hopefully it's just your parents or your friends or whatever, look at those people that you trust and look at their fruits. Are they good? Well, only you can really decide that. I mean, that's a perceptive-based decision, right? But do you deem them as good when you're connected to God and you have to make a decision about something? Okay, I gotta stop rambling. I'm gonna do my class now. It'll be in a few minutes. I have to get my thoughts together. It'll be a little bit of cardio and strength and then some yoga. So hopefully if my kids don't get to me. Anyways, God bless.